Hey, in this episode of Doc's Boost, we're going to do a water leak repair. Now, even as simple as that may sound, the water leak I'm talking about is behind the engine. It is inaccessible, top to bottom. It's going to be a challenge. Now, I'm fully prepared to take the transmission out if I have to, and I'm fully prepared to take the supercharger off if I have to. I am dedicated to fixing this water leak. Now, I already have the car up on cribbing, ready for access underneath. Let me show you what we're talking about. So this is the mess I'm talking about. This is what we got to track down. And it seems like it's coming down on this side a little more than it is on this side. And you can see that it's been a slow drip. I've lost about an inch of water in 1,000 miles on my reservoir, and the temp gauge has never ever moved. So I'm going to take my scope cam and I'm going to stick it up there and see if I can't see where all of that begins. But you can see the only way I'm going to get to anything up there, and there's 5 different possibilities, is to take the transmission out. This is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Well, what it looks like from all of these pictures, you can see that this is a hose connection for the heater hose assembly. There's a black steel tubing that goes across the back of the engine. Some of the couplers, quick couplers, plug into it, and there's another little hose that connects the back of the engine to that same line assembly. And it looks like here and here and this connection over here certainly does indicate that that's where the leak is. Can't tell whether the hose is cracked, or the clamp's just not doing the job anymore, or maybe that steel tube assembly is not round anymore, and that's why it's leaking. In any case, transmission's coming out. Alright, so the first thing we got to do is we got to get rid of all of this exhaust. So first thing we got to do, obviously, is loosen up all these damn clamps. There's clamps everywhere, front and back. There you go, coming right along. Get the ones in the back so we can break apart the axle backs and the exhaust pipes. And here we can disconnect the exhaust pipe clamps. And now we have an opportunity to separate the pipes here in just a moment. And let's see, here's one. And the next one. And then after this, a little bit of heat wrench, push some map gas, because that's all I got, and try to wiggle these things apart. Alright, let's grab it and shake the hell out of it till they come apart. After hours and hours of struggling, and map gas is all I had, I finally got those damn pipes off. Man, and that one is fucked. And then the drive shaft is coming out right up there, over there. The drive shaft is now gone, and we can pull the cross member off. We're going to get that off. We're going to take that bar, that black bar right there, the one with all the coolant splatter all over it. We're going to take that out of there. And then here's a little torque trick. Just put a couple of wrenches together for extra length, and it makes life a lot easier. Remember that. That's a good trick right there. get the jack under there to relieve the pressure and use an 18mm to get those bolts out of the cross member. Makes an easy job of it. And then you can get the jack out of there and start disconnecting. Let's disconnect the wires everywhere we can. Well, the next thing we're going to do is disconnect the shifter. We're going to disconnect these bolts here on both sides and disconnect this up here so we can get it really loose. So those clips right back there can come out a little easier. They're really stiff, so there's a lot of tension on those arms, those golden arms up there. And now we'll be able to slide this clip out. And we just got to get the other one on the other side. We're going to get that bolt out right there. Alright, so now we're going to take the starter out, and the first thing we're going to do is take these two wire connections off. We got a bolt here, and the bolt around the back. And we're going to use a 10mm swivel attached to a couple of extensions, the 10mm swivel socket, and we're going to attach it to the top first. Get that one out. The other hand slightly right here. So as I loosen it, it won't put pressure on the bolt and stop rotating freely, and that's what I want. So I'm saving this one for last. So I'll break it loose. There we go, break loose. And now running it out, and I'm holding it somewhat in place with the palm of my hand at the same time. And it's coming out really easy. And it is out. So, all three bolts are out, and it's ready to drop. All right. Then after that, we'll be tackling the bell housing bolts and getting that transmission out of the way. And then we can gain access to the water leak area. Get these off. These are 13s, and just like everything else, they're just a pain in the ass. Got that one. So we got the top two to do, and they're coming along okay. They're kind of tight coming all the way out, but it'll make it. Alright, we got the coolant tester on there. We got it pumped up to 14 pounds. Now that the transmission is out, we can now get under the car and try to determine where that leak is coming from. So we're getting under there right now. As you can see, you're going with me. I'm going to turn the spotlights on, get some light on the subject, sliding under there, and we can see the water coming down. And it's not looking good. You can see that it's coming from that pipe coming down from the manifold, because that is the engine cooling system, not the intercooling system that's leaking, and that's what's under pressure. So that's part of the intake underneath the supercharger. So I gotta take the supercharger off. So that's where it's coming from. And you can see it squirt as soon as we put pressure on the hose. It's coming from the top, I believe. Or maybe it's the hose squirting upward. Well, let me drain it. It may be the hose. Let me drain it and find out. Let me drain it because you can see that when I pressure the hose and squeeze it, it's pushing it up. Oh shit. It's the clamp. The clamp is not on the hose. The clamp is right here. That's what's going on. All I got to do is move the clamp up to there. The clamp is here, but it's got to be there. From there to there. Oh my God. Can you see that? This is where the clamp is. I'm touching the clamp, and the clamp has to be way up here. So it's way down here. It was never put in place when we put it together. Wow. Push on the hose, and it squirts. All right. Our goal now is to get this clamp up there. So I got to get, somehow, I got to get a little pair of pliers up there, squeeze the shit out of that clamp, and wiggle it around the turn so it ends up there where it belongs, so I can stop the water leak. I'm not going to be able to put all of that on the camera, I can guarantee you that, so I'm just going to have to do it and then show you when it's done. Okay, we got the clamp installed, the system's pressurized. Let's go take a look and see what it looks like down below. I had to go with a new clamp. There was no way I was going to be able to move the old clamp. It's just impossible. There's no way I was going to move that clamp at all. There's no room to do it. So I went and got another clamp, and I was able to get it in there tight. Now we got no leaks, under pressure, pushing on the hose, nice and exactly what we wanted. So now all we got to do is put that transmission back in. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's going to be an all-day job. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start putting that back together again. And I'll be right back with the transmission in place. So now that the car's on the ground, everything's put back together, you can see that that water leak was 100% avoidable if you just didn't get distracted and not put the clamp in the right place at the right time when the engine was installed to avoid all of that work. That was just a tremendous amount of extra work that just didn't need to be done. But I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad it's over. And I think we deserve to all go out and do a burnout together. So let's do it. So let me show you another one of my most popular repair how-to videos right down there I got selected for you. And I'll see you in that video in just a moment. And thanks for watching.